welcome to Bach It, because we are batshit about The Bachelor. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Reed.
And so we also have a delicious drink today. So Reed, tell us about what this is.
So this is a new segment we're doing now. It'll be our very own cocktail party, because Kristen and I were very jealous that we didn't get to ever join the cocktail party. So we'll be doing our own cocktail party, and we'll be attempting to do it on theme, or at least vaguely on theme, with what's going on in the show. So today we have a nice Spanish Sauvignon Blanc. And I tried it a little bit beforehand. But it's a little bit sweet, I think. It's kind of dry too, but I think it's technically classified as like a dry wine. It's not a dessert wine or anything like that, but I think it's pretty good. They recommended it to me at the store, and because they added it sorted by types rather than by region. Oh. And I was looking for a Spanish wine. I'm like, I don't know where any of they did, like where they had it. So there's like, oh, get this one. I'm like, okay, great. And that was the end of that. So anyway, so this is what we'll be doing, and we'll have themed drinks after some of the girls too coming up here forward. But just wanted to ease into this nice and easily. But feel free to join us if you can.
Yeah, and we can dedicate this, and we can do a cheers to Maria, because this has been a rough week for her, which we will get into. So cheers to you, Maria.
Yeah, cheers to you. Yeah, so let's just get right in. So the big thing was, this was a 2-episode week, which honestly, looking at it, I don't think it had to be. Yeah,
I agree. As the 2-episode finale, not finale, but the 2-episode usually doesn't have to be, And I don't know if they just have a limited amount of space on ABC, like they only have so many Mondays that they're like, oh, we have to. But they have more episodes than Mondays, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because they're not skipping next Monday. They're just going straight into it. So
yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
That's not how it was done. Yeah, because President's Day, so I'm like, would they skip it for President's Day?
No is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts? How do you like Malta and Spain?
Oh my gosh, beautiful. It was awesome to see them outside of the mansion. It was awesome to see them in these beautiful locations, as it always is. And we've seen, pretty typical dates, right? Walking around the town. We've seen typical starter dates when they go out of the country. But yeah, it was cool to see that.
Yeah, it looked really pretty, and Joey's just like, yeah, I love it when it's old school, and I'm like, bro, this isn't old school. This is like several thousand years old, so it's a little bit more than that. But whatever, I get what you're trying to say.
He was popping out all kinds of jokes left and right.
Yeah, did you see when he said he's like, we're in Malta to get ready for the Alta, and it had like the little subtext that says the producers will try and do better. I feel like they forced him to say that.
Yeah, I saw that one. There was other ones too that he said, and he was like, sorry, that's terrible. I'll work on that. But I think it makes him very charming.
Yeah.
And I am into it.
You're into it? Yeah, I think the producers forced him to say it.
Yeah.
Say that cringe joke.
I think he says cringe stuff, and I think he can get away with it. I think a lot of other bachelors, if they said that kind of stuff, full on cringe. It would be like all over social media making fun of the guy.
Yeah.
And Joey can say this stuff, and no one would ever know. It's not going to be plastered on social media because people are into it,
Yeah, I think I'm fangirling over him too much, but he just doesn't seem like any of the other people. And I just because they keep on saying nonstop, he makes me so comfortable.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
I feel like more comfortable watching him. And it's funny because I was listening to another podcast, and they were saying, you watch a lot of these bachelors and you just are not into them. And, they're giving you the ick. And, everybody thinks Joey's cute. Everybody thinks Joey is charming and someone you actually want to date,
Yeah. Could you say he's there for the right reasons? Had to get that dramatic turn to the camera for that. But I think he I hate that I'm saying this, but I feel like he is actually there.
Yeah.
And so if we kind of go into it, obviously the story of the show is this is the Maria episodes. So where are you at with her? You on Team Maria, Team Sydney? Who do you think was going to get dumped?
So I am on Team Maria. You know, and it's funny because it's this roller coaster ride with Maria. I feel like we started off, Maria I wasn't her biggest fan. I wasn't a fan at all. But I could tell that she was going to go far. Now I definitely think that she's going to go far. And yeah, Sydney, you know, is just like you drop a penny and it's the end of the world. Like, I just feel like the drama is to an insane level. I also think Sydney lied about a lot of things, unless they just didn't show it on camera. But she was just throwing out a bunch of accusations. I think that she did that to try to make Maria look bad and her look good. But I think at the end of the day, it didn't matter what Sydney said. I think that Joey was going to choose Maria regardless.
Oh, well, that's because I mean, you could just tell he liked Maria. I don't think he really liked Sydney that much. Or he was indifferent.
And his conversation with Sydney was, hey, what's going on with Maria? Do other people in the house don't like Maria? You know, not like Maria? It was very like more questions like that about, is this just you have a problem with Maria? Or is it like a group that doesn't? Whereas his conversation with Maria was more like, you know, I'm sorry that you're going through this, and, you know, we're going to be able to work through this. Are you able to work through this? Right? And so I think he was saying, I hope that by putting her on this 2-on-1, I'm not going to make her want to leave on her own.
Yeah. And and she almost did for a hot sec. They tried to fake us out for one day, but And yeah, so ultimately Sydney gets sent home, and I put up a poll for this actually to see who was going to get sent home, and I irresponsibly did not check to see what the results were.
No!
But I'll get better at that. But I'd see if it's Sydney, Maria, or both, because you know that's also the possibility. But yeah, one of the things that Maria said, and you know, I feel like I'm a Maria fanboy too, but most of the part she's causing drama, so she definitely won't win.
Yeah.
She just can't. And I think it's just like she's not willing to take bullshit.
Yeah.
And so people will say stupid stuff. And then she just like it's strange because she demands that you tell her why something happened, and none of them can ever do it.
Right.
And I think that's like like so disrespectful to them for asking why.
Right. I know. Bullying is what that is. I think she's just a strong person, and she knows who she is, and she's confident, and I appreciate that about her. Yeah,
I like her, and I didn't join the bandwagon like you.
Right, yeah, you liked her from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't join the bandwagon, and I mean, she said her sad story, and that got her the group date rose. Of her, I don't know how they keep on finding all these people. Like every single one of these people, like almost died or had some like horrible illness. Because who was it? Was it was your favorite Kelsey A? Mm-hmm. She had I can't remember.
Her mom had breast cancer.
Who was the one that had the disease that?
Lexi.
Oh, it was Lexi. Okay. Yeah. Because Kelsey A's mom passed away due to that, and Lexi had that problem. They keep on finding all these people where it's just like, right. It's like I don't think I know that many people.
They're gorgeous and they have trauma.
Yeah, so
which is what the Bachelor loves.
Apparently, yeah, because they have to share that, and I mean it works every single time.
Yeah.
But the problem is you got to know when to play it. If you play too late, you're going to get sent home. You play too early, you may need that later to get that rose. That's true.
Yeah, and I think if you're on a 1-on-1, you don't really have a choice.
Oh, you definitely have to.
Dinner portion, you're kind of forced.
Well, you're not eating the food.
Right.
So, unless you're John Paul Jones. You remember him?
Oh, my God. John Paul Jones. Yes. Classic.
Yeah, he is a classic.
Did he actually eat the food?
Yeah, he did. I think he...
Wow. I thought it was fake food. That's why I thought they didn't eat it.
No, I think it's real. It's just like, it's this known thing that they don't really talk about, that like you don't eat it because it's bad or something.
Do they just turn off the camera to let them eat, and then they turn on the camera?
I think they eat like separately away.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or maybe they just don't eat. That's why I always like Corinne, because she ate food, and I'm like, wow, she's a real person. It's the only person who eats food.
Right.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, that was the primary thing. But how did you feel about the 1-on-1 in Malta?
With Lexi?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they... what did they do before that? I know they went to dinner and she opened up about, so they walked around the town, pretty typical, you know, exactly what you expect from a date in a different country in Bachelor world. And then opening up about not having kids. I mean, this just made me love Joey even more. His reaction was totally understanding. It broke my heart a little bit when she said, her ex, couldn't get past that. And this might be a controversial comment. I understand that,
I get it.
I totally get it. I think it's okay for someone to feel that way. That being said, on her end, it's absolutely devastating, I'm sure, to hear. And it's absolutely devastating to go through that experience. So my heart really does go out to her. But I'm happy that Joey responded in a really mature way and said, if I care about my person, then, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, let's not pretend he was not going to do that. We all know.
Right.
I saw it a mile away.
But I think it was genuine.
Oh, yeah,
I think
that's
he
the
genuinely
problem.
would do that.
I think he's a victim of his own success at this point. Because you keep on watching all the previews, and all these people are just breaking down in tears because they're just like, I care too much about you. He's too good at this.
Yeah, he is.
So he's just getting dumped with all these problems because, I don't think this happens normally that quickly.
No, yeah. And he responds. I mean, every single situation he responds 10
perfectly
out of 10.
every single time, and I keep on making notes in my head okay,
I actually love it. I thought I would hate it. I thought it would get boring, but I love it.
Well, see, the problem is he's so good at all this that it's causing drama anyway, because they're just what am I going to do? I'm just going to start, because we saw in the preview that Jess, who now is become one of the villains,
yeah,
I guess you called it right. She started off the villain and faded out, but she's Team Sydney, so she became one of the two villains along with Leia, which was the unpredictable villain.
And now it's funny because Leia was a fan favorite, right, at the beginning.
I thought
she was on, the After the Final Rose. I think everyone was rooting for her at the beginning. So to me, it's crazy that they flipped her narrative to now be kind of villainous. And what I'm wondering is, maybe this is controversial, maybe it's not, but is it that Maria's the villain, or is it that, Leia and Jess are the villain? And I think people could argue either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, why they care so much, because they're just I hate that she's even here. And it's who cares?
Right.
Unless there's maybe there is something serious going on that they just don't say. Maybe, because Maria said something that was really interesting, because when Sydney accused her of telling Leia to shut the fuck up, that
right.
She's we're on camera all the time. And that's a pretty bold thing to say.
Well, and we all watch reality TV, I'm sure, more than just the show, but this show also does it, where they do a flashback of this actually happening. And when Sydney said that, they didn't do a flashback. One, I don't remember Maria saying that, and I feel like we would have remembered. Number two, they didn't do a flashback. So either it didn't happen or they didn't film it. But it's making Sydney look like a liar.
How could they have missed that? And that's the other thing too, right? With Leia, why didn't she say anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, and they're painting Leia in a bad light in that way, and also when she said, my dress, my earrings, my hair, my that's not painting her in the best light either. And what's interesting to me is I wonder, how, the contestants of The Bachelor are watching it live with us.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if Leia was oh, I got a good at it, right? Of course I got a good at it. Everyone likes me. And she did up until this point. And I wonder if she is now oh, shoot, I didn't realize I was the villain, but now I'm being painted as the villain.
Well, if that
makes sense.
If we just work into that a little bit more, she goes up to Medina and it's just how dare you be nice to Maria?
Right.
It's just who cares?
And I was here we go with drama with Medina again, when Medina is not starting the drama ever, and she's yet always involved.
Yeah, well, Medina was a background person, and she got the axe along with Allie and
I think it was just Medina and Allison. Well, I guess the first episode, yeah.
No, Medina was last.
Yeah, you're right.
Last night's.
I had Edwina and Allison the first episode, and then the second episode was Autumn and Medina.
Oh yeah, Autumn. I mean, I think they seemed fine. It's just they never really.
Right.
At the time.
I kind of saw that coming, and at the end when they showed Autumn, Medina, and Jess, I knew Jess was going to stay. I knew she was going to stay. And then she got the last rose. And, you know, I was like, Medina and Autumn just haven't had enough airtime for them to stick around for another week.
Now we've just got the main characters in play, really.
I know. So things are heating up. Yeah. And I think just falling apart, she had the she went on the group date paint rose, and then she kind of had her own one-on-one paint date with him.
Thingy, yeah.
So my thought is, why is she feeling super insecure? There's girls like Daisy is a great example, who has had a one-on-one a long time ago. In the group dates, hasn't really had a lot of one-on-one time with him. Yet when she sits down and has a conversation with him, she's still very mature, saying, you know, I'm super happy with where things are. I'm still super happy with you. You know, and then these girls just completely fall apart, like Jess, that do have time with them. And then, you know, now they're having conversations saying, I don't have enough time with you. Do you remember me? And it's like...
That's because Daisy's cool.
You're falling apart. Daisy is cool. And I think Daisy's, I'm going to assume, older. I don't know for sure, but I know that Jess is 23. And
okay, so she's a bit younger.
So she's a bit of the younger contestants, and I wonder if Daisy's one of the older ones.
Yeah, 26, so old, or 25, or whatever she is. But yeah, well, that's because Daisy's cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's starting at this point. I'm curious what your take on this is like who's, like, I'm starting to see who I'm really envisioning who the like 3 or 4 people are going to be the top now. Mm-hmm. And at least for me, it's like, it's definitely going to be Daisy. I thought it was going to be Leia, but I don't think she's going to make it this far at this point.
Yeah,
she's going to break that rule there of getting that first impression rose. But I mean, she still made it like at least halfway. We're down to like, what, 12 now or something?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to me, Daisy, Kelsey, or Kelsey A.
Yeah.
And then Lexi.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Is Lexi the one he went on the surfboard date with?
Jen.
Yeah, Jen. Those are my top 4.
Okay.
I think he really likes
mine,
them.
Kelsey A, Lexi. I do think that Maria is going to make it far.
Oh, you think she's going to go?
I think he really likes her. And I think they're painting her in a positive light in a lot of negative situations because she makes it far. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think the producers still want to show the drama because she is in the drama, but I think they're kind of encouraging the audience to be on her side, because she makes it far and they want fans to like her. So yeah, Lexi, Maria, Kelsey A, and we could say Jen's up there.
I think he really likes her.
He has a good connection with Jen. I agree with that. I think they do have a great connection.
Yeah, I think he really likes her. And I just like, I don't think usually the people who get in a lot of drama don't make it that far.
True. And I agree with that. And that's what I think is so interesting and unique about Maria. And I think that's going to mix some things up a little bit.
Yeah. And I just like, I mean, maybe she is just getting really good at it, but I just like don't see what the problem is. Like, I just don't feel like anything's really going on.
I think she's just confident in who she is.
She's there.
And I think some people interpret that incorrectly, is how it seems to me.
Yeah. So that's kind of the end of Malta a little bit. We had the one-on-one. There's the biggest group date ever, which was that was kind of interesting. This is why I'm just fangirling over Joey, right? Because they do the night thing.
Yes.
And something I was thinking about, right? There was like, oh, go put on this costume or whatever. And I'm thinking, there's no way they are making these people put on like chainmail and like full plate metal armor. And they didn't. I knew they weren't. I knew they weren't because it weighs like 50, 70, 80 pounds minimum. Right. It's really heavy and it's really hot.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the group date, the long eye contact on the sword fighting date?
It was super cringe.
It's so cringe.
I can't remember who just decided to kiss him, but I feel
Kelsey
like that was the correct idea.
And I think what's funny is Kelsey A did that and nobody went after her. But you know, if that would have been Jess, people would have been, or if that was Maria, oh God.
Oh yeah, and there would have been the torches and pitchforks would have been out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kelsey A, I was like, ooh, controversial. Never got brought up again.
Yeah, I think that was the right thing to do, honestly. And then they had the like sausage thing. They had to put something dumb in there that's like offensive, and they just have to. But then see, Joey's too good at it. He's like, I wouldn't do anything I wouldn't make you guys do. And I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, stop being so good at this.
Yeah. And yeah, Kelsey T got the rose date, or got the group date rose on that date.
Yeah.
Kelsey T is making it up there.
I think
she's getting a lot of airtime. I'm starting to notice her a lot, which is great. She's awesome.
She could be like, she's going to be, I think she's probably top 6 too. And she's like smart enough to just not get in all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, which makes me like her a lot.
She's
more
like
too.
very classy, very elegant, very put together. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes me like her a lot. Yeah. So there's a sausage thing, but it's like, it's kind of refreshing this season. They haven't really done anything that I found especially derogatory to the contestants. So I was like, all right. I mean, like, good for them not doing, because sometimes they have like the strip dodgeball game or the like whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, do we have to do this? Like, it seems more like Joey's the one who's good. Like, it's like, take your shirt off. And so we have to get the fan service, right? So.
True. Okay, should we move on to the Maria Sydney 2-on-1 date?
Yeah, we can go into more depth there. It was so, at first when they were filming them on the boat, right, I figured like,
oh my God,
there was somebody there. There was nobody there. It was just a GoPro on the front of the boat.
What?
Yeah. So
wow, that's even more awkward. I didn't know that.
And how long were they sitting there for?
Oh God. Well, and even when he got on the boat, he kept saying, sorry that we have to do this. Sorry, we have to do this. And you could just tell it was just full on cringe. Also, Maria was kind of like snuggling up to him. And, Sydney just wasn't at all. She was very cold. She was very distant from him. And I understand her emotion and why she was doing that. But it was just making an awkward situation almost worse. I feel like Maria was in the awkward situation. But when she had that one-on-one time with Joey, she was like, you know what? I'm feeling okay. And I'm feeling fine. And I'm still going to act like this is a date, and I'm still going to take advantage of this time with you, which I really appreciate. And I think Sydney kind of let the awkwardness overpower her taking this quality time with him.
Yeah, and that's just why I don't think that Maria could be the villain here. Just like all the stuff she's saying is just like so contrary to what the villains always do on this show. And they always... because she's just like, yeah, I'm just going to try and let it go. They never let it go. You can't do that.
Right.
You have to hold on to this forever. And she's just like, yeah, I'm going to try and just show him that I'm here for you. And like, she just straight up told him, like, I don't want to be here, but I'm here because you're here. And I don't know, just her reactions when he says the accusations just feel like authentic. They don't feel like, oh, I know I did that, but I got to get away with this somehow. And so I just... Yeah, I feel like Maria was playing the win and Sydney was not at all.
Right. I think it was funny because Sydney said, spending the day with Maria is like spending the day with the devil. And I was like, wow, okay. That is very dramatic.
I just don't see the problem. I just don't think it's that bad. But I've said that so many times. I just don't get it.
So when Maria gets the rose, what did you think of the opera singer? After she got the rose singing,
it was gold. Honestly,
it was a little bit much for me.
Oh, it was a ton. It was way too much.
It was a little cringe.
Doing Ave Maria, but also at the same time, like, I mean, here's the thing. Do you think because it's like with an election, right? They print out 2 newspapers because they don't know who's going to win until the end.
Right.
Did they have like this opera? They obviously had the opera singer, and there's like, hey, if Maria, well, maybe they still would have sang the same song.
Oh, that would have been so controversial. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it is. I'm wondering, like, did they plan that? It's like, okay, we got 2 songs for you. Do not sing this one unless you see this woman leave.
That's true. Yeah, and then had a different, or maybe he was like, listen, guys, I'm going to choose Maria. So we already know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they all knew.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sydney, even though she seemed pretty unreasonable throughout the whole thing, when she left, she took it pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
She just walked out and didn't make a huge issue out of it.
Another thing I wanted to say is, the guy goes in and takes the suitcase of the girl going home.
Yeah.
He went in, there was a black suitcase and there was a Louis Vuitton suitcase. And I was like, oh, the Louis Vuitton is for sure Sydney. And indeed, he grabbed the Louis Vuitton
Got
suitcase.
the LV bag, yeah.
And I was like, all right. And hey, I love the Louis Vuitton bag. I wish, maybe someday. But looking at Sydney now, I'm like, she would have a Louis Vuitton bag.
Maybe someday you'll get that Louis Vuitton bag.
There we go.
Yeah, the real deal. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, just looking at the suitcases, looking at them, because like I was just looking at them and you could like see the difference. Like Maria had I think it had the larger one, but it was just like the black suitcase that everybody has.
Right.
And Sydney had the other one, and I feel like that says a lot, right?
Right.
Because I'm like, I don't know, it's just a stupid thing I carry around. It doesn't have to be that cute, especially for like a Louis Vuitton suitcase.
I know, and the suitcase is being thrown around, and that's a lot of money.
Hopefully she's not a checker, right? I would not check my Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah.
At all.
Sometimes you don't have an option. And this is international, so I feel like she's definitely checking that bag.
Boy, I hope not. It's going to get lost for sure. And but I'm glad I didn't notice that it was the Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought, oh, I have to talk about this.
That's funny.
So, and then, the episode kind of falls apart. So the episode kind of ends with this whole Medina, Maria, and Leia situation. So let's unpack that. What's going on there? What are your thoughts?
I think Leia's just trying to be like, yeah, I hold my friends at such high standards and like blah, blah, blah. And like, I would never allow one of my friends to like betray one of the other friends. And it's like, I don't know if this was like a betrayal or anything. And then Maria gets wind of this and starts crying. And I'm just like, wow, Maria can only take so much.
Mm-hmm. And she's been like, she's been through a lot. And my thought is, Medina said this comment weeks ago about her being insecure about the age and then let it go. And her and Maria have been cool for weeks at this point, So then I feel like for Leia to come in and say, well, why are you nice to Maria and why are you friends with Maria? I feel like you can be friends with Sydney and Maria because, Medina was like, cool, Sydney's my friend. She stuck up for me. That's great. I appreciate that. But I can also handle my own. And I've been over this situation for weeks,
It's pretty obvious why that is. Maria and Medina are the two oldest women there. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be the most mature and capable of handling petty problems. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're 23, you've been out of college for like a year. And so you probably can't handle petty problems. Yeah.
You have to, well, and even what they said is Sydney just has to win. She's just not going to let it go until she wins.
Yeah. I don't think she had anything. I think she didn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
She just is like, she even said that. She's just like, I've got my game plan. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean your game plan?
And I think her game plan was lying and telling Joey that the girls in the house don't like Maria, telling Joey that Maria told whoever to shut the fuck up.
That was so funny too because they bleeped it out and they said it like 5 or 6 times in quick succession. So it's just like every single time that happened, it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's interesting, I keep on bringing this up. They showed Maria's handler. So like all these people have like a producer or a handler or somebody that, takes them to wherever they need to go. And, and it's like your friend or whatever.
Okay.
I think it's the person they're usually talking to when they're having the like the little like vignette things when they're just speaking with the background.
Okay.
So they showed her a handler too.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd or 4th time they showed the camera crew, and I just keep on being like, wow, they're suggesting that these people exist.
I know, yeah, and you were like talking about that before too, and how you're into that.
So I'm super into that. I guess the production of it or whatever. It was no like Colton Hoppin offense though.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was next level. That was very dramatic.
Yeah, it's very dramatic. I sent her that gift the other day just for the hell of it.
Yes.
But,
I love the Bachelor gifts.
It's funny. The majority of them seem to be like Nick or Colton. or
Oh,
Corinne.
yeah.
Just from what I've looked at, and I'm like, I guess they're the biggest memeable people. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, so that then they left on the cliffhanger, and I didn't really think Maria was going to go, and then ultimately she just
I was nervous about it. Oh my gosh. I was like, what if Joey does really like her and she leaves? That would suck.
You think she was going to go?
I kind of did.
Dang.
I was nervous about it.
I didn't think I thought I don't know. I didn't think she was going to go. I mean, effectively, right? They're like, hey, the rose ceremony's now. And she's like, okay. And just like, pats herself on the face a few times, like, okay, I'm good to go. That's the end of it.
Okay. True. Yeah. So then it starts still kind of with her falling apart and just Medina and Leia beating her up. And then Edwina and Allison go home, which just broke my heart. I thought Allison was going to make it hard. I thought she was going to make it far. I mean, I wanted to see a hometown date with Allison and Lauren.
Allison didn't do anything. She was just there.
Yeah, I know.
She
But
was
I'm a fan of her. Yeah.
I'm not like an anti-fan, but I'm not a fan. She's
She's just neutral. But yeah. And Edwina, of course. I mean, how can you not love Edwina?
Yeah, Edwina was the first person to go. That voice of reason. That's what my sister said to me. Actually, she said Edwina is the voice of reason because they were having all this drama, and she's like, I don't think this is that big of a deal. And I was like, yes, thank you. It's not that much of a problem. Thank you,
Edwina. I know.
And so that was sad. She's the first person to go where I was just like, oh, okay, there goes somebody that I actually liked or knew anything about.
And I think now it's hard because now with the upcoming weeks, it is genuinely people that we're going to care about because now we have an emotional attachment to really almost all of these people at this point.
To some level or another, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a bummer. Yeah, so who do you think is being a winner?
Oh, gosh. Lexi.
You're going Lexi?
I mean, I do not want, here's my thing. I like Lexi. I'm fine with Lexi. But is she my favorite? No.
Yeah.
But I think that they have a good connection. I mean, honestly, I would be happy if Maria won, but this whole drama situation,
no way.
I think that it is, I just think that it's not going to be possible for her to win at this point.
No way. I mean, she'll be around at other things because she's definitely a big character on the series now.
Yeah, for sure.
No way she wins. No way. It's not possible.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I think. I think Kelsey A will maybe be number 2.
Really? So let's go to the big elephant in the room here.
Okay.
And I remember Joey, when they went on the art date, I think it was Kelsey T.
Yeah.
Who painted the half a heart. And he's like, oh, what a great elephant. And she's just like, this guy is stupid. But yeah, that was a pretty good date. I thought the paint date.
Yeah.
It looks like fun, honestly. And it kind of felt a little thoughtful.
Yeah.
And it wasn't make a poem and do some
right. It was very light. Yeah. Yeah. And I liked Maria's drawing of kind of showing both sides, the sunshine and the clouds,
Her drawing was pretty rough. But
I mean, yeah, it was rough.
She's not a great painter, but I'm sure she's aware of that.
But we appreciate the messaging.
Yeah, the messaging was definitely there, and she was aware. But anyway, the elephant in the room is, and when they got to the preview there, we're going back to the very beginning where they're trying to hype us up that he's getting dumped.
Right.
And they were saying,
again, I'm confused. I was like, are they showing footage again from last time, or is this time?
No, I think this is straight up this time because there's too much going on. They're showing too many girls who are just like, oh, I'm losing my mind because I don't want to see you with other women.
Right.
Which, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
But also, you're on The Bachelor, so I don't know what you expected.
So it's inevitable. Yeah.
Outside of this one thing, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. But since this is The Bachelor, just this is what you're going to get.
I think that what is interesting is another Bachelor podcast recap that I was listening to said, and it was the Viall Files, Nick Viall, all right, controversial character in a variety of ways, but he was saying, so he knows still some of the producers and and he was saying that one of them said something happens at the end that has never happened before and left it at that. Didn't say it was good, didn't say it was bad, didn't say it was the most dramatic thing ever, but did say something has happened that has never happened before.
I'm trying to think what hasn't happened before. I'm sure.
But has the girl ever said no? Has the guy proposed and the girl that he chooses said no?
I'm not sure.
From the episodes that I've watched, I feel like that hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
I know that the girl has said, "I'll be your girlfriend." Juan Pablo's season.
Okay,
he
proposed, Juan Pablo.
And I mean, that's
he
a
was
little controversial.
the villain.
He was the villain. And so, but she didn't say no. She just said, "I'll be your girlfriend." And I wonder if this girl flat out says no. Period.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you caught the shot, but they showed a letter that says, "We need to talk."
Yes. Yeah.
Which means he's getting dumped by whoever wrote that, because that's all that means.
I think Maria's going to send herself home, is what I think.
You think she's sending herself home?
Yeah. I think she's getting so sucked into this everybody hates me narrative that she's starting to kind of lose it a little bit. I think at this stage of the competition, a lot of girls start to lose it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's getting smaller, because they're starting to have more genuine feelings, because the house is getting more divided. And I think, and reality TV is hard, and they haven't talked to their family for weeks at this point, and they haven't been able to like use their phone. And I feel like they're starting to get a little crazy. And I think some people are better in those situations than others. And I feel like Maria, it's looking like she's kind of going down a path of spiraling and getting in her head.
Yeah, she's definitely getting in her head. She'll probably end it herself just because she'll stop being able to be there.
Right. And when Joey's like crying, saying, I don't know, I didn't think this would happen. And not, this isn't at the very end. This is just the preview where he was like, I'm shocked. And what if the girl I proposed to does say no?
I mean, they all say that.
I think that, that's true. But I think that was coming from her going home, and he is just shocked by it.
Because he did say this has never happened before too. He said that even on that show. So I'm curious. My hot take is that I think Daisy's going to say no.
Oh. You think Daisy's going to win?
I think so, honestly, at this point. But she's technically not winning because she's going to say no. And the reason why I think this is because because one of the clips was of her saying, like, I don't know, I feel like at this point we should know all these other things, and I just don't, or whatever she was saying. And
Okay. Wow. Okay. That is a hot take.
It is a hot take.
I think Daisy's going to be the Bachelorette.
Oh, of course.
She could still get engaged and say no and be the Bachelorette, although that is kind of contradicting. I'm not ready.
Well, she didn't get engaged. She just said, well, it's not that she's not ready to get engaged, just not ready to get engaged to him.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So who are you think Daisy number one, who number two?
I think it's, honestly, I'm getting those big Kelsey A or Lexi vibes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he really likes them.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go with Jen just to be super controversial.
Oh, yeah. Jen is Jen.
Daisy. You're going to say Daisy and Jen.
Yeah. Honestly,
and I'm going to say Lexi and Kelsey.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
I think those are probably the likely four, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. Well,
sure.
we can clip that and make us look like fools.
Right. At the end, when it's like somebody like Kelsey T and we're both just like totally wrong.
Yeah. When those four people have like long gone. And it's a completely different. It's like Jess and Leia.
And we're like, wait, this came out of left field.
Yeah. We'll see how good we're predicting this stuff. Yeah. So I think, and that's why I said he's a victim of his own success. He's too good at this, and they care too much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're all freaking out because of it. And because I feel like he's too good at it, so they're forcing them to be like, think about this as the show's like, quote unquote, intended to be, rather than like that this is just a game. Right.
And it's funny because when Nick Viall was saying, this has never happened before, one of the girls on the podcast responded with, oh, they actually got engaged and stayed together.
Ooh, that's funny.
So that's a positive take on it. I mean, we hope that would happen. And I feel like, Joey is a catch. So hope maybe this one will actually last.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is his last shot. Once you're on The Bachelor, you're not allowed to go on any of the spinoffs, it seems.
Oh, well, they've had bachelorettes. But yeah, I guess they haven't had bachelors on Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, have they had? I didn't realize they had bachelorettes on that.
Yeah, they had Rachel on there last season.
Oof.
She was a bachelorette. Yeah.
I feel like that is not a victory
lap.
Oh,
they had Becca on there.
That is just not a victory lap. Like, if you can't figure it out off of that, then like I mean, I don't know if I said this on this show, but I feel like you're much more likely to actually find somebody on Paradise than you are
absolutely.
on this.
1000%. And most of the time from the friends that I've talked to, they like Bachelor in Paradise better just because there's usually more drama. There's usually more tea. And I think the Bachelor or Bachelorette drama is silly 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it all comes down to the power dynamic. Mm-hmm. And like once you, the Bachelor, Bachelorette now are required to actually like give the same level of, commitment and whatnot, then it becomes this big problem because you're just expecting them to do everything for you. And it's like, no, now you have to do something for them.
Well, and I like Bachelor in Paradise because it is more similar to real life than The Bachelor, right? You're dating someone who has the option to date other people, who maybe wants to date other people. You have that exclusive conversation. You have that boyfriend-girlfriend conversation, you know? And you get to spend way more time with them. So it is like a genuine relationship versus here, you know, if you're going on a date and they're eating in 2 separate rooms, then you might not even go on a date with that person until after you're engaged, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I like it better too for that, and it feels a lot more. The only non-fake part is, or the most fake part is everybody's hot.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for them to like, when are they going to represent people who are like below a 7?
I don't know if they're going to be on TV is the thing.
No is the answer. They're not going to represent the people below a 7. Maybe one day. I don't know if I've ever seen a single person on that show where I didn't think that.
They were, yeah, true. Well, I want to go into the next episode. So the next episode, Joey comes up on a Vespa. They're in Andalusia, Spain.
Yeah.
The girls are all sitting together. He comes up with a Vespa. He asks Kelsey A to go on a date. Everybody loses their marbles because everybody said, oh, we thought it was going to be a group date. We're all here together. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. The meltdowns start to begin immediately. And then Kelsey A goes on her picnic date, goes on her, walk around the town picnic date. And then opens up about her mom dying of breast cancer on the one-on-one night portion. So overall, kind of what is your take on Kelsey A and that date, that one-on-one date with her?
I mean, I think it went pretty well for her, and she did what she had to do. And I feel like because I've noticed every single one of them is saying this time of like, oh, I need to open up or it's going to be a problem. And like she said that, and Maria said that, and Lexi said that, and like all of them keep on saying that. So I feel like it's just like a requirement. If you don't do that, you're going to have a big problem. And Rachel too. She's aware that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which, like, big kudos to her, because normally the people who are unwilling to share are not aware that that's going to happen. And she's, like, telling him, like, hey, I can't really share right away, but I'm getting there. Right. Rachel, I think, might be kind of like a sleeper pick, too. She might kind of into the top, because he's talking just like, I hope this slow burn turns into, like, a roaring fire.
Yeah. No, I really like Rachel a lot.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It is moving a little bit slower than some of the other relationships, but there definitely is chemistry there.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, that's the problem with Joey. I can't figure it out because he's just like, I want you to say when you're comfortable. It's like, who says that on the show?
Yeah.
Just him, apparently. They're just like, oh, well, she wasn't opening up, so she can just go away. And it's like, she's known you for like 2 hours, dude.
Yeah.
So he's a problem. He's a troublemaker. He's breaking the order of things.
Yeah. That's true. Do you like that or you don't like that?
Well, I appreciate him as a person because I feel like I could actually talk to him and not like hate him. So
yeah.
And I don't really have any issues with like how he questioned or like treated the girls or anything, which usually they seem to.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the date was good. I think everybody's losing their mind for nothing.
Yeah, like per usual, because I think it's getting to that point of mental spiraling in these girls' lives, Yeah. It's a hard time. Yeah, so then I have kind of going into the paint date, and Maria got the group date rose on the paint date, and she did that by opening up about her mom What are your thoughts on all that?
I was just like, yikes. She said she was pronounced dead at the scene and didn't go into details how she came back to life, I guess. But that, I mean, that's wild. And I'm if she goes to the hometowns, that's probably going to be pretty wild because, they're going to force the mom to be there. And
True.
they're going to like force Maria to have some very uncomfortable conversation and just like, oh, we have to reconcile right now on the show. And it's like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they've tried to do that a time or two.
When they tried to force Matt to reconcile with his estranged father, I'm just like, why are you doing this to him?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do to you?
And also, we don't all need to see this, and we probably all shouldn't see this.
I didn't think it was appropriate.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's just like, why did you like leave the family? Yeah, that's something you need to be talking about on television.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Maria got the group date rose, but I don't know. She's playing the win.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And it's a bummer because I think that she has the ability to get it far, but I think she's getting in her own way and she's letting the girls get in the way.
Yeah.
100%. And then after that, let's talk about Rachel's one-on-one date, the dancing. What did you think of the whole dance? What did you think of the shorts and the boots?
I mean, I didn't really care that much. I mean, like I'll wear boots and shorts if I'm hiking or something, right?
True,
and,
yeah.
And obviously, I guarantee you, he was probably like, I'm going to wear pants today. And they're like, no, don't wear pants. Don't do it. It's going to be too hot, Joey. Don't do it. So they wanted to set him up for failure. But it's definitely one of those things that, like, she will continue to bring up.
Yeah. But now it's kind of an inside joke. I think it'll be fun and cute.
Yeah, it's their cute little thing.
Yeah.
It's just like with, I think it was Jen or maybe it was Lexi making fun of his feet for being like ugly.
Oh, yeah, Jen, when she was like, stick your feet in the pool. I know, I wish, is it weird that I wish they showed his feet? Does that make something wrong with me?
You don't get those for free, Kristen.
Oh, I have to go to his OnMyFans site. Got it.
Yeah, you don't get those feet pics for free.
At Joey the Bachelor handle.
Yes, because he's probably not making enough money being a social media influencer or whatever he's doing now.
Tennis pro.
Yeah, both.
And then what do you think of the dinner portion when Rachel opens up about being a nurse and how that is kind of, that might be hard for her partner?
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. You're potentially, and depending on how understaffed the hospital she works at is, she may be working a ton of hours. And, the big controversy is because it sounds like she's a staff nurse, is she's going to have to deal with all the travel nurses who get paid a lot more money than she does and, get to travel. And, like, I'd go to Hawaii if I had the option to travel around.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So, I mean, it makes total sense. And, I mean, I imagine it's hard coming home after you see somebody die on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
And but once again, he's able to handle it with no problems.
Absolutely.
He doesn't even flinch.
Crystal clear. He's perfect. Yep. Yeah. No, and she ends up getting the rose. And then let's talk about that final rose ceremony. So Jess and Maria. There's drama with Maria again. I thought we were over this. I thought we were fine with Maria. I thought we were moving on. I thought it was going to be her and Leia. And then all of a sudden, Jess came out of nowhere, beating Maria up.
Well, Jess was butthurt because she didn't get time with Joey.
Don't blame that on Maria. Get up there and get time with him. That's my opinion.
I've heard that they don't actually get to choose when they go up. I'm not sure if that's true. But if it is, it makes a lot more sense. Why they're always so mad about it.
But then why would they be fighting with each other about it? Wouldn't they be mad at the producers about that?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me because just get up and go.
Right.
Like
and she's sitting here boo-hoo-hoo, and then she's sitting here fighting with Maria, calling Maria a bitch.
That's going to bite her in the ass.
Oh my God. Not a smart decision.
No, that's going to bite her in the ass.
It's funny, Jess was controversial, and then she disappeared. Bam, now she's coming in hot again.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, they showed her off crying, and I'm just like, no, this isn't the time. Don't go crying right now. You're wasting valuable time. And, like, who knows how long that was.
Well, and then they show, in the preview for next week, they show her talking to Joey, full-on meltdown crying. Yeah. Not a good look.
No, I don't think you can get away with that.
And I think at this point, they should know don't talk crap about Maria in front of Joey because it's not going to get you anywhere.
Because you'll lose.
Focus on yourself. Pull a daisy and just talk to him
like a person.
Like a person, instead of saying, well, she said this and she's doing this and I can't believe you like Maria. And all these girls are just so obsessed with putting Maria down.
Well, that's because Maria's like obviously a front runner.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
true.
Obviously she's doing well.
But you look at the other front runners like Lexi and Daisy, and they aren't getting into it. They aren't getting in the drama.
How could you? Like with Daisy, what are you going to do?
But I feel like those two people are also front runners. So
Yeah.
you think that they would be more threatened by another front runner versus a girl who's not. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Maria's easier
you
to
would
tear
think
down.
that they would be more insecure and because they're front runners versus saying, okay, I'm not really that worried about Jess. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, and then Jess is like, it was so disrespectful that like you got in a rose and we didn't. You got it your time. And it's like, was it really?
And I like that Maria called her out and said, okay, do you have a problem with that?
And she didn't say anything.
And she didn't. She was like,
deflecting my point.
okay, I'm done with the drama. If you have something to say, say it. If you don't have anything to say, shut up.
Yeah, I
shut
think
the F up.
it's the it's the I'm telling you, it's the age difference.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
And it just has to be. And I mean, Maria's just kind of a more a harsh or like a little bit more like off the cuff type of person.
Yeah,
and I think that bothers a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas just like I don't know, but it's just like how could you have drama with Daisy?
True.
Like,
I mean,
what are you going to say to her?
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't know how you could. And maybe I'm too much of fanboying over her again, but it's just like I don't know. You could try like what has she done? Like she just seems like like how dare you make that charity or like or
right.
whatever. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but yeah. So we're not done. I don't think we're gonna be done anytime soon.
Oh my gosh, this is going on so long. Just with Maria. I mean, let's get over it.
I think she wants to, or at least they're making it look that way. But I think it's just how she is. People don't like that, and because some of the other girls are just like, I thought she was totally fine with it, and just like, and also I think the thing is, why wouldn't she go up and talk to him, even if she has the rose? That's a stupid thing to do because I know this has been people in the ass before when they have the rose and they just don't do anything. It's just like you can't take your foot off the gas. You got to keep on going.
Yes, yes, that's a great analogy.
Like if she went up twice or something, fine, whatever. But
right.
You got to at least go up once. Like you might not see him for another 4 or 5 days. You got to take whatever you can get.
Right.
So it's just,
and I think if Kelsey A were to talk to him again, wouldn't have been a situation, She probably
did.
And Kelsey T had a rose. I think same situation. People would have been like, "Oh, you had your time. Good for you."
It's just like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
It is in your interest to do that, especially if you like them.
Well, and Maria interrupted Caitlyn, which we kind of forgot about Caitlyn.
I did forget. Oh yeah, the chemist. Yeah, I did forget about her.
But she was like, "Oh, Maria interrupted me and was totally okay with it." And it was Jess who had a full-on meltdown,
Yeah.
And if anyone was going to be hurt, it should have been Kelsey, or it should have been Caitlyn.
Well, it's never the people that Maria's actually directly interacting with. It's everybody around it. That's the problem.
Right.
And I just like, I don't know. I don't care. It just like, this doesn't need to be a problem, but maybe there's something going on where it should be a problem.
Right. True.
So what are your final thoughts and wrapping up? And what do you think next week's going to be like in Canada, Maria's place?
Oh, does Maria get a one-on-one in Canada?
She damn well better get one in Canada. Because they're in Vancouver. I can't remember exactly where she's from in Canada, but I hope they blur out all the Canadian flags again for whatever reason.
Oh my gosh.
Because they did that. I'm pretty sure she walked out with a Canadian flag and it was blurred out.
Yes, they did do that. That was so bizarre.
I'm just like, what is this? Like, are people going to be offended by seeing this or something? Like,
yeah.
Like, we're all aware they're up there. Like,
Well, it looks like there's a group date rose in the woods because they show all those girls in flannels out in the wilderness. So I'm going to guess that. I'm going to guess a one-on-one with Kelsey T because they show Kelsey T eating dinner with him. And that's usually happening on a one-on-one, right? But Maria, it looked... Well, and then they show Daisy horseback riding with him.
They showed a lot of things.
Is that Daisy on a one-on-one? But I don't think they would put Daisy on a second one-on-one this early.
If she does, she's like locked in.
Yeah. And then with Maria, it was just like, will she get a one-on-one? I'm going to say I don't think she gets a one-on-one. I don't know why. I'm probably wrong, but for some reason, I think just to cause more controversy, like I said, I think she's going to send herself home. I'm not happy about it, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, there's a time, not a long flight.
Yeah.
To drive home, I guess.
Yeah.
Last thing. Who does he say I'm falling in love with, too? Because he said... Did they show it was her?
Well, they showed Lexi after he said that, but with editing, it could... That doesn't necessarily mean that's who he's saying it to.
And do you think he's going to say it to more than one person?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think?
There's no way he's not. It's way too soon.
And this is so early to be saying stuff like that.
He's too good at this.
But I think this is what's going to get him in trouble. Because you're really not supposed to say, I love you or I'm falling for you, until like the very, 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 very end. And he's saying it and he still has 10 girls left.
You're right.
And that's crazy. And Lexi already had a one-on-one date. So my question is when is he sitting down with someone saying, I'm falling in love with you? Is he doing it on a group date or is he doing it on, Lexi just had a one-on-one date. He's saying it again. I mean, I don't know. And maybe I just think it's Lexi because they showed her right after and my brain just was like, oh, it's her. But, the teasers really get you.
Yeah, it could be. I guess we'll find out. But, yeah, I guess we'll see next week in Canada.
Yeah.
Let's see where things go. And hopefully they're not too sorry about anything that's going on there.
Sorry. Maybe they'll have a maple syrup pancake eating date.
Hey, that would be
They just get slapped in the face with maple syrup and pancakes.
Yeah. They never really do eating dates.
Yeah.
They want to pretend that doesn't happen. It's not part of the human experience.
That's true.
Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed us today and enjoyed joining us for a cocktail party. And we have a slightly different rose today because of the season. They're quite expensive right now, but we hope that you will join us next week and please accept this rose.